How you doing, Kevin?
Much appreciated, man, for that intro. Love. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
I see you're somewhere that's warm, tropical. Tell us where you're at, man.
I'm in Miami. I'm at home. I work out of my spot, so got everything here. I got everything I love to do in one spot, basically. So, and I love being in Miami. I've been here for a long time. Did little, dip to LA for a year or so, came back, went to New York, went to Nashville for a little bit, and just kept calling me back time after time. I was like, that's it. I'm done.
So you being originally from New York, correct? You're
Hmm.
from New York.
That's right.
Tell me about your upbringing in New York, man. Where are you from specifically in New York, and how was
I
that?
grew I grew up in the city, and my mom and my dad were separated, so they lived in two different parts of the city. My grandparents also lived in one part of the city. All like kind of generations of New York, really, except for my dad. He was British, but growing up in the city, I think was instant exposure to different kinds of music, art, culture, fashion, going downtown. I used to say, Mom, you take me downtown to St. Mark's Place so we can see the punks with green hair when I was like 6. And then by the time I was like 12, 13, you're riding the subway downtown or whatever, wherever you're going. And I was, you just see wild shit, man. You'd be like roaming around Soho at 2:00 in the morning, walking to and see a gallery with performance art and like, just people doing wild shit. And you'd encounter all races, all styles, all music. There would be hip hop on one thing, then the tunnel would be going off with dance music, and then there'd be the rock clubs, down the Lower East Side. So it's just everything. I think had no lines for me in terms of style. Right? It was all art. It was all creative. It was all music. It was a place where you would design yourself. Right? So you might just pop to some vintage shop and buy some shitty jacket for like $5 and just rock that for 3 months and be like, I'm this dude now, and that's what I took from it, was just self-invention, creation, no lines, no. I don't separate music. Like I just don't at all.
And one thing that you added on that I want to elaborate is like self-invention, recreating yourself, doing things like that. One thing that I stumbled upon, which how you and I connected, was I was on TikTok, scrolling through my news feed, and then boom, you randomly pop up on there. And I know you and I were talking briefly before we hit record about the importance of, hopping on these platforms and telling your story and, things like that. I want you to elaborate about what made you hop on TikTok.
I saw it as a stage, and that's what I liked about it. Instagram to me felt like you've got to be personal. You've got to show your life. And it's like, my life is my life. That's not your life. But TikTok was interesting to me because I view it as a performance art platform, right? So remember what I just said about how I'd go to those galleries and see those, you just see somebody standing there just like on like sitting on a box of ice for a big giant ice cube for like 10 minutes, or like a naked girl in a box or something like that. It'd just be wild shit, imaginative things. There'd be some dude in the corner just reading a book, and like that was the art exhibit. So I started to look at TikTok like, this is like you could do anything on here. Yeah, it comes off as a kid's platform, or they were dancing to songs and that's how it popped off. But I just see it as a stage. You could do anything you want on there. That's creative, and that got me inspired. Like, what could I do on here? And then I did the first few, and then I ran some stuff. We're talking about the old songs, and I wasn't planning on going back. I wasn't planning on talking about the Cash Money stuff, the Wayne stuff, to be honest. But I saw that it was resonating with people so much. They were just like, oh my God, that's my childhood. And I was like, what's crazy is that a lot of those kids who were listening to those songs, like when Let It Rock came out, they were like, there was a lot of younger fans, 11, 12 years old. And they lived through, maybe they were 19 and 20, and they were like, I'm not fucking with that anymore. I'm doing my, they changed tastes in music. And I think now they're 25, 26, 24, whatever it may be. And they're kind of like, damn, like when I was listening to that music, that was the last time I felt really good. And that was the last time I remember connecting to that innocence, that optimism, that, yeah, fuck the world, let's go do it feeling, which seems to be a part of the music, And that's what really got me talking more about that, because I wanted to connect with those people. I was hearing all these stories, and one dude, I did a video on it, you know, you altered the course of my life. It just killed me. I was getting choked up reading his message. I couldn't control myself. And I thought, wow, isn't this is what it's about? It's about impact. And yeah, there's hate. You're student, you fell off. Okay, great. Well, congratulations. Like, my life's great. So
So that matters.
do whatever you want, say whatever you want. But you know, so it is what it is. But I'm enjoying it, man.
That before we get into Let It Rock and I Made It and all those great moments, those nostalgic moments in our childhood, because I remember being at the skating ring and requesting
Yeah,
while we were skating and all that. So, but
I
before
appreciate it, man.
I want you to elaborate because I don't think I've ever seen you speak about it. There was a session between you, Timberland, and Lil Kim. I wanted you
Oh
to talk
yeah.
about that studio
So
session.
that was the first time you know, my friend Jimmy Douglas was working with Tim, mixing, engineering, also being a part of that, and very much so, very integral part of that world. And Jimmy and I became friends through some music I was making, and I said, dude, like, it's not I'm not chasing anything. It wasn't like any kind of thing. It was just purely artistic. Like, I'm in the landscape of music at that time. To me, I look for the innovators, and you know, I like the fact that he was being innovative, along with, I think, also a group of all the Virginia Beach, you know, the Neptunes, Pharrell, Chad, all this, that whole time frame. But those people were innovative, and they were also getting their music out to a lot of people. And I was like, that's sick. You can just make something really smart and really cool. So I was very drawn to Timbaland. I was like, man, I need to get a hold of them drums. You know what I mean? I need to get in there. I felt the draw. And so Jimmy said, yeah, come down one night. I brought my guitar. And I think like the first thing he was working on was that Jump Off record. And I was just like, I just showed up, had my guitar because I want to offer something, you know. That's what I do. That's what I'm was sort of known as before. And I just played that part, you know, you know, and that's it. And then that became a pretty cool big record. I love the record. I don't know how big it was or not. I think it was pretty big. And that was my first intro into that. So that was just timing and luck, and also I think focus and desire of wanting to be a part of that world, and also to give and add value. You know, I always say, like, if you pull up anywhere, bring something of value. That may be something, an offering, a gift, a talent, something that you do that maybe they can't get somewhere else. But that's a good way to meet people and stuff. Not networking bullshit, but just human shit.
Some genuine stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, just like you were talking about, Let It Rock, man. I don't know if you know this, but July 29th, which is when we're going to drop this interview, will be the 14th year
Oh my
anniversary
God, it's
of Let
fucking
It Rock.
crazy, yo, that long.
It's
Wow.
crazy. In retrospect, how about you give us a moment, a story of the creation behind Let It Rock with you and Lil Wayne? Do you have a
I
untold story behind, you know, the studio session with you and Wayne making Let It Rock?
so what happened was a friend of mine brought this rapper over. His name's Graph. You ever heard of Graph?
Mm-mm.
He was coming up around the time 50 Cent was coming up in New York, and I think they both got deals, went in different directions, but they were part of that same sort of movement at that time. Real cool guy. Came over. My friend said, "Look, he's gonna, you know, give you a little bit of money to make something for him." So I go in my little bedroom and I'm making one beat. Well, you like this? Nah, it's cool, man. All right, make another beat. Yeah, you like this? Nah, whatever. And then the third thing I made was Let It Rock, and it was the beat, the, you know, the ding 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 ding, and the whole thing, and it was just a kick, snare, pad, and that bass and that top synth line. And he's like, man, that's dope, but I don't know. I really hear like a rapper on a 4 on the floor. Remember, this is 2008, so different times. And it's like, well, I'll just get back to that one later. Made something else with Graph, and then I don't know. I pulled it up a few days later, and I just kept it was drawing me. Just kept wanting to listen to it, sing over it. Didn't know where I was going. It's a weird chord pattern. I don't know if you know that. Probably people don't know that because they're not into chords, but the chord pattern is like a very strange minor to major, and it always does that. Like, not that many songs do that, like that chord progression. But I was like, this, I don't know, is this gonna, people even gonna understand this? You know how it is when you're making something, right? So I just kept going on it and going on it and going on it. And became the song it was, and then it was one of those songs I played for Slim. And at a certain point, we were going to have another single, and he said, "What about that Let It Rock song?" Because we were asking Wayne to get on a different song called In the City," which I thought would be like a more of a kind of underground drop, you know, just sort of like get people ready for what was coming. And we went with Let It Rock, and the second we switched to Let It Rock, Wayne got on it like literally, like I said in that TikTok thing, the next morning. And he was in Atlanta, so we just got the files. I hadn't even met him yet. Didn't meet him for about another month, and then we did the video right after that. So we had a lot more time. But that's really how it happened. And then it was the weirdest thing, because at the video shoot, they're like, "Yo, this is gonna blow on radio. You got all these stations and everything." And I was like, "What? This song not a radio song. What are they doing? That's not what's supposed to happen here. It's gonna be on top 40 radio." So I was just like, okay, like, not gonna stop that, but not what I had in mind.
At all. And
Not at all.
it's crazy, man. You mentioning the work that you've done with Lil Wayne. You got about 7, from my understanding, songs that you've
It's
done.
8 actually. It was funny because I did the 7, and then I remembered another one, so it was actually 8. And then there's a couple unreleased too.
Give me a top 3 of the songs that you've made with Lil Wayne, of your favorite top 3 from that you've done with Lil Wayne.
I can't leave out Let It Rock because it's made such an impact for me personally, and it seems for other people. I really love I Will Not Break, which I did with him about 2 years ago. Especially because not a lot of people know about that one. And then I'd have to say Spit in Your Face, because that's just grimy and amazing. And he does some of his best stuff that people haven't even heard yet, you know? So Spit in Your Face, that was a special moment. Just the way he came on at it, it was just like, what? It was so long. I was like trying to edit it out because it was so long. It was amazing.
All right, man. Last but not least, what would do you have any new music coming out?
I do. I just dropped one called Summertime. That just came out on all platforms. I got probably another one in about maybe a couple weeks. I'm gonna keep dropping. I'm just sending a few out here and there. Just creating low key right now. People find it cool. I'm not going hard on the promotion. It's not about that. I'm just enjoying reconnecting right now with the older fans, and just getting to know people. I really like that. I really like the connection with people. I love hearing their stories about it. I love telling my stories. I just want to continue to build that connection with them. It's not about selling them new music and all that. That's fine. They find it cool. No big deal. Like, I just want to keep building with the people and hearing their stories and telling mine.